Welcome back. So sleep apnea is a condition that most people are familiar with, but there are some common myths when it comes to this whole idea of sleep apnea. Here with us today is Dr. Anna Smith from Dentistry with TLC to dispel a few of those myths, and her husband Travis also joins us. He's actually had issues with sleep apnea in the past. Nice to have you both back here.
Thank you.
So let's bust some myths. I would say the very first one right out of the chute is sleep apnea is fancy doctor lingo for bad snoring.
Yes, I hear this all the time too, and it's really not. Sleep apnea is different than snoring. So snoring, we kind of equate that to being thunder. It's noisy, it's loud, it's annoying, but it's not deadly. Whereas sleep apnea is lightning. Sleep apnea is deadly. It's when your airway closes when you're breathing and you stop breathing. Your body tries to revive you and you can die if your body isn't successful.
That's a pretty big difference.
It is.
I'm willing to believe that most people watching at least have a family member or a friend that's dealt with this before. And most of the time, we'll bust another myth here, you get one of these bad boys, the big Darth Vader mask. And Travis, it's great that you're here today because I want you to bust myth number 2, which is if you're diagnosed with sleep apnea, you got to have one of these bad boys.
No, you don't.
No?
I hate that thing.
But you did have it for a while, right?
Yeah, but I would rather die early than live with that.
Yikes.
So,
well, you said it made you claustrophobic. It was just not comfortable.
Right, claustrophobic. Just hated it. I could not sleep with it, actually. I know some people can get used to it, but I never did.
So what did you wind up using?
The only other option was given to me was surgery. And I actually went to an ENT, and he told me about how to cut the back of my throat out. And he actually talked me out of it because he said half of the time it doesn't even work, and the recovery was horrible. So I wasn't up for that either. So that's when we started looking for something else, which no one told me about. We had to do this on our own to figure out what another option is, and this oral appliance is the best thing that's ever happened to me, almost. So.
And doctor, that takes us to myth number 3. We're talking about this little guy here, which you would think, compared to this guy, surely this is not going to make a big difference. But that's myth number 3. The oral appliance can't help you with severe sleep apnea. Not true, right?
Right. Travis's sleep apnea was severe. He stopped breathing. I think it was almost 80 times an hour, or something like that. It was
an hour.
It was
Good
severe.
Lord.
And some of them were long, some of them were short. But it can work even for severe sleep apnea. The American Association of Sleep Medicine actually recommends the oral appliance if you have mild or moderate sleep apnea. The problem is most people don't know that. They don't know that that's the recommendation, and that this actually usually works better than the CPAP.
Which gets us to myth number 4. If I do need an oral appliance, my doctor's probably going to tell me so. Not true?
Usually not true, just because they're not aware of it. Most of the old research actually shows that oral appliances don't work, and that's because there are so many different types, and so many different types don't work. But now we've come out with some that actually do work. They're extremely successful. We see extremely good results with some of them. But you've got to make sure you get a dentist or a doctor who's been trained to make the ones that work, so that you have something that is treating your sleep apnea. Otherwise, you can still die in your sleep. You don't want that.
Because there's got to be some fitting and things like that involved.
Definitely.
Okay, got it. Myth number 5, surgery. And Travis, you mentioned this too. Surgery is the best way to permanently cure my sleep apnea. Lots
of surgeries relapse. So you go in thinking, okay, this is going to be awful, but I'm just going to get it done, and it'll be over. I'll be set for life. And a lot of them relapse. So you have the back of your throat cut away, it can grow back. You have trouble with your nose, and the obstructions can come back. So it doesn't mean that it's fail-safe. With the oral appliance, and one reason I think Travis really enjoys it, is that there is no downtime. There is no surgery. You just put this in your mouth and go to sleep, and that's it. And you haven't permanently changed anything. It's easy.
Sounds like a pretty good deal. Yeah. And by the way, speaking of deals, a special deal for Great Day viewers, TLC is offering $1,500 off the cost of the oral appliance just this month, right? The month of July. That is very, very cool. Thank you both so much for being here. We appreciate it. And one more thing before we let you go. You've been on here many times to talk about fast braces. I just read that you were recognized as like the best fast braces dentist worldwide or something ridiculous. Really?
Thank you.
That's more than just a little cool. That's pretty neat. You can visit this doctor whether you need fast braces or an oral appliance. She does it all, folks. Dentistry with TLC is located just 30 minutes from downtown St. Louis. They're in Godfrey, Illinois. The number is 618-466-0733 for an appointment, or visit them online at dentistrywithtlc.com. Only the best in the world, that's all. Virginia and Kent, over to you guys.
Right here in our backyard.
How about that?
That's awesome.